to episode 487 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm very excited for this episode. I'm Christian Piles, joined as always by two Green Bay Packers fans, maybe, actually. I don't know if Ben is. I don't know if Ben even knows of football, but I know Kyle Brackey is, and it's draft day, so he's pumped. Ben, what's up?
I was a starting nose tackle on my freshman football team at 120 pounds. So
That's right. That's right. We discussed this.
Yes.
What a beast. So, okay. Ben Askren, before we have, just to give a quick rundown of the show, we're going to have like 15 minutes here. Then we're going to show Finding Sion, A Spiritual Journey in Isolation. You're going to like this video. Then Sion's coming on. Then Chris Pendleton is coming on, and we're going to watch some matches and talk about them. But first, right. Ben Askren, are you going to fight Ariel Helwani? What is up with this? I thought y'all were boys. You were on his show literally every day. Now, all of a sudden, it seems like you guys hate each other. What happened?
I think I'm just bored in isolation. He's like the easiest one to pick on.
Oh my gosh! Wow, you're such a cyberbully.
I wasn't even intending to be mean. I was just kind of like, I saw an old video of Dana White, and then I saw an old video of Ariel Helwani, and it's like came to me. Who was the most nerdy one when they were younger, Ariel or Dana? And I put it up there, and he got mad about that. But I think we're all good. He's walking around with that dumb ball attached to his head. Doesn't he realize he can hit it as many times as he wants, and it's not going to go anywhere?
Well, I think it's it's the new trend. Did you ever have one of those things? Those hats, no. The balls that you hit? No.
You know what that makes me think of? That makes me think of. I don't know. Do you guys ever watch Kenny Powers?
I know who it is. Yeah, Eastbound and Down.
Yeah. So he said like, what do you guys, we trying to be the best exercise? I'm over here playing a real sport.
Okay, so hey, it's draft day, Kyle Brackey. Anything we should be really excited for? You talked about the wrestlers that could get drafted. People apparently were excited about that one.
Yeah, it was cool. I literally looked at the top like 300 draft prospects to see if they had any wrestling background.
Gosh.
Did you look at Joe Burrow like maybe he did?
No, because I know enough about him, having been in Athens and everything, to know he didn't wrestle. But literally, I mean, I checked Tua.
Just make sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe tried it. Yeah, there's going to be 4 former state champions that are definitely going to go. Tristan Wirfs is going to go in the top 10 more than likely.
How tall is that guy?
I think 6'5".
That video of him wrestling Aaron Costello, like that screenshot of how tall Tristan Wirfs is compared to Aaron Costello.
He's 6'5", 320.
Oh my gosh.
And to Ben's 40 point, he ran a 40 and 4.86.
Oh my gosh.
What? He must have cheated.
So he played at Iowa, of course, and was an Iowa State champ. And literally the entire Iowa offensive line was third or better at the state tournament.
Really?
In their high school career. Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty awesome. And then there'd be 2 Clemson offensive linemen drafted that were South Carolina state champs, John Simpson and Gage Cervenka. And then Nick Coe, who was a Flow Nationals champ for Auburn, probably go in mid-rounds, somewhere between like 4 and 6. So it's pretty cool to see these guys have a lot of wrestling success, and then it translate over to the gridiron as well.
Okay, hey, so go ahead, Ben.
What do we got to do to get Dabo Sweeney on this podcast? You got connections?
I got no. That would be your first. That'd be
a huge get.
I would rather have Saban. I think he would say something more interesting, or at least be meaner. Dabo is like just such a nice guy. I'd rather get someone on there like Saban. He apparently likes wrestlers that play football.
Does Dabo Sweeney have Twitter? I'll tweet him.
I'm sure he has Twitter.
Sure.
Yeah, give it a shot. All he can say is nothing at all, which is what he's going to say.
I actually don't think he has Twitter.
I don't really. That's interesting. He's probably on the ground.
I don't think he does. I just searched him. No Twitter. What's wrong with Dabo?
Who needs him? Hey, okay, so we're going to do a quick, rapid fire. Maybe not rapid fire. Maybe we'll only get one question in. But get a couple questions from friends before we have the reveal of the Sion special. Here's a question. So we asked a couple shows ago, what is a move that is no good, or that is good, but people don't think it works? So this is the opposite. What's one move that people think is no good, but works? Like Ben waged war against the crossface last time. But what's one that's like, oh, that doesn't work anymore, and it's actually great?
Oh, that's a good one because most moves that I would say that work that are ones that people don't know all that well because they're too stubborn and they say, I think we're past that point where they say, "Oh, scrambling doesn't work." People don't say that anymore because it's really
Yeah.
dumb. Man, that people works that people don't think works. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do something really dumb, Christian. Ready for
Perfect.
this?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the headlock again because
The cowboy.
you know there's been a whole. I mean, so obviously at the youth level, it's significantly underused, but at the college level, we've seen Jason Nolf hit one. We've seen Mark Hall. We've seen a lot of these better guys hit. Darren Caldwell hit Brent Metcalf. So now you don't want to go and throw like a headlock per match, but if you use like one headlock every 20 matches, you can sneak one in here and there.
Yeah. One that I know what Nomad would probably say is the switch.
Oh, go one.
Switch is not. I feel like the switch is used more like in transitions than like.
Yeah.
It's not off the whistle. Anyone's hitting like left hand over right hand and like sitting out like that
Yeah.
anymore. I don't know if anyone even does that anymore.
It just the motion of it. The switch mode. Yeah. I agree with that.
So maybe it's the switch.
Hey, I had something I owed you.
Snap.
I owed you the best scrambler. I made a list somewhere.
Who is it?
I'm trying to find a list. Oh my goodness. Okay, here's my final. I wanted to give you all my final. So here's my final. I think I had like 9 of them. Darmstadt, Caffey, Mahler, Sasso, Alvarez, RBY, Gross, Glory, and Spencer. And I only picked from you had to be kind of ranked remotely high before I wanted to pick you.
Mm-hmm.
Top 5-ish. Sasso, I love Sasso, but he needs to be more dynamic in his scrambles. He goes to the same one over and over and over again. If he doesn't change that, it's going to be a big pain in the butt. I love RBY, but he doesn't force his scrambles enough. He could be better. Alvarez is too reliant on his scrambles, meaning that they are good, but he should do other stuff also. And he actually started doing more offense towards the end of the year. Spencer gets no credit as a scrambler, but is freaking ridiculously good. Gross and Glory, both are really high-level scramblers, and I almost want to pick them, but you know who I'm picking, Christian.
Our man.
Our man.
Our son.
Ben,
Make the case.
You know what?
You have to make a stronger case because of our already
bias.
Our known bias. You have to oversell it for the people to not say you're just a homer.
I'll tell you what. I almost didn't pick him strictly because of the Whitman match. That match made me say, dude, I can't pick him. Let me just pull this pick back. I think he has a lot of unique scrambles. I think he has a diverse skill set of scrambles. I think for him going down to 184 pounds actually hurt him, and he should have just been up 197 pounds all year long.
Still,
I would have liked to see
why that happened.
I have no idea. I haven't talked to him in person. So weird, right? So yeah, I think just all those things combined make him the best. I think the real bet. I think actually the guys who I would put number 1 and 2 on my list both sat out this year, being Yanni and Jay Nyerman. I think I would probably put them number 1 and number 2, but they obviously didn't wrestle at college. So they'll be back next year.
So what makes Ben a really good scrambler? What are like the different positions he really thrives in?
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things that he has really unique flexibility that makes him have a feel that a lot of other people don't have, and he has really unique length that a lot of people don't have. And we kind of talk about how Robles was able to become so effective with one leg because people couldn't get a feel for that, and I think that's kind of a lot of what Ben Darmstadt does. He's so long and he's so flexible that he's able to do a whole bunch of things that a lot of other people can't expect, especially at that weight class. Obviously the majority of my selections were shifted in the bottom 2 weight classes because for whatever reason those guys seem to be kind of as a group better at scrambling. As you get, and then this is another point against Ben, but as you get bigger, guys in my opinion get worse at scrambling.
Yeah.
And so I guess maybe that's another thing that makes him stand out.
All right, the Funky Fresh Scrambler of the Year, Ben Darmstadt. Okay, question from Alex. This will probably be our last one before we get to the Sion special. Since you brought up Ben showing his match where he beat Pendleton, which we have, what match would you most want to see that is nowhere to be found on the internet? For example, Tom Brands over Joey Gilbert, 33-19 in the NCAA semis. Do you know anything about this match, Ben?
I mean, I've heard of it, but to their point, I've never seen it because it just simply doesn't exist.
Oh, man. All right, so is there a match like that for you that's not the 33-19? I'm going to have a hard time finding one that sounds as interesting as Tom Brands and Joey Gilbert having a match with that many
beat
points.
That?
33-19. 52 points?
We should get some time. The one I want to see for a while that I never saw was, and I always had so much curiosity about, was Mark Schultz at Bannock, or is it Lou Bannock? One of the Bannocks. Mark Schultz and one of the Bannocks. NCAA final. Mark Schultz bumps up, stops Bannock from going for the fourth title. I always wanted to see that match, and it wasn't really available. And then I think I saw it when the internet started getting more and more wrestling matches on. I finally saw it. So that was one that for a long time I wanted to see, and then I finally got to see. Yeah,
that one made it up to the internet, but not the 33-19 NCAA.
Someone has to have it.
Someone in Iowa has to have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably do on IPTV somewhere.
Michigan probably destroyed the footage, but I think somewhere in the Gable's. I'm sure Gable was a big film guy.
They had that crazy Big Ten.
Do you remember
final?
Yes.
Was it that year too? Was it that same year?
I don't know if it was that year. So what? All right, Ben. What do you think happened in this match? 33-19. Did Tom Brands? So the little backdrop. Tom Brands and Joey Gilbert wrestled in the Big Ten finals, I believe, before this.
Yeah.
Gilbert all but pinned him, and then Tom Brands came all the way back and beat him kind of soundly. Do you think this is Tom Brands? Did he go take down and release so much that that's how he got to that disparity, or what do you think happened here?
I thought it was Joey Gilbert put him on his back either once and or twice, and then Tom Brands just started taking him down, letting him up. Much like my man, big shout out Josh Wagner and Flo. You guys blew this one. This was when Flo was in its infancy. Christian, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Ready? My buddy Josh Wagner throws Brent Metcalf on his back, not once, but twice, and he's winning 9-3. And Martin runs over with this freaking camera and starts videoing the match. But all he's got a video is Metcalf giving Josh the business, and he ends up beating him. I don't recall what the final score was, but it was Metcalf had like 16 or 18 points or whatever. And so the footage of the first part of the match exists nowhere. So I take it back. That's the one thing I want to see, because Josh and I actually have an argument on the two moves that put him to his back. So I would like to see that one.
Okay, well, it begs the question, where was the Missouri coaching staff in the video team?
Josh was the only – I can't remember why. I think he was hurt for Cliff Keenan. He was the only one that went to Vegas that year, something like that. So, so that was why there was no film team there.
Okay.
Maybe Iowa has it. Iowa, release the footage.
Release the tapes. So, okay, here's the rundown for the rest of the show. We're going to show this video as soon as I finish saying this. We're going to bring on Sion. Sion's going to stay on for a couple minutes, and then Pendleton's going to hop on at like 8:45 Central, in which case Sion has a story to tell about Pendleton, I won't even say, and then Sion's going to go, and then we're going to sit down, we're going to watch some Ben Askren and Chris Pendleton matches, and then that'll be it. That'll be the day. And you guys will talk, and it'll be an exciting time. So, with that, it is 8:30 as promised. It is time to show you Finding Sion, my spiritual journey in isolation. I hope you enjoy it. So we're sitting here with the director of operations at Flow Sports, Sion Williams, a mythical figure in the wrestling and the flow world. Maybe the person that is the most impacted by this quarantine is Sion Williams, and we wanted to take the time to check in to see how Sion is doing. Now, Sion, you're the director of operations here at Flow Sports. That's a big responsibility, and you're pretty high up there in the hierarchy here at Flow.
I don't like to talk about titles. I always say I'm just another minnow in this ocean we call Flow. I'm higher on the totem pole around here, so you need to get out. I am just another small fish like everybody else, swimming the same way. I run this. King Kong ain't got nothing on me. My leadership style is about we, not me. Pay me.
Sion, what do you miss most about coming in and working at Flow?
Well, getting on FRL. I love the show, working with Brad King. Got great chemistry with CP, You know something, CP? You would have been one of the that would have been taking your drink in the bars, too. He leads me to be the best I can be on air,
Right. You know what? You're out. You gotta go.
What, man?
Get off the show.
You need to
try again next time. So one thing people love about working at Flow is the family aspect of it, is that there's dogs and people can bring their kids in here.
Having dogs, I love animals. Who looking at? Who doesn't love dogs? I buried that in my backyard for garden fertilizer. People describe me as a gentle giant. I love kids. It's an ugly baby. During this hard time, only essential employees get to go in to the office at work. Everybody else have to work from home. As director of operations, I'm fortunate to be one of those essential workers.
Yes, Sion?
I'm here to work.
Essential employees only. Have a good day. Have a good day. Have a good day.
Sion, I can imagine you being such a people person.
Who drank my almond milk?
That one of the hardest parts about not being able to come to work every day is not getting to have that face-to-face interaction with your coworkers.
Yeah, that's the tough part, I miss my team. Makes me, getting teary-eyed, man. I'm about to cry. They're like my brothers, sisters, my family.
It must be hard, but how are you keeping in touch with your team during this time when you're not having that face-to-face interaction?
We're still keeping in touch every day, We have virtual hangouts where everybody gets online. I don't really give a Let's move on to the next person. It's something that everybody on the team looks forward to every morning. We have a lot of work to do. Get the done.
Now, one thing the quarantine has created is a lot of people have a lot more time to consume content, and you being a wrestling fan, have you been able to check out any of the FloWrestling content we've been producing?
Man, we're putting a bunch of content out there. I love it now. So, I'm keeping up, setting alerts. I get alerted every time they put something out.
So, Sion, what would you say to those people right now that are struggling during this time of quarantine?
So what advice do I got for people in quarantine? My old man used to say this thing to me, so I'm gonna say it to them. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. I'm sitting here by myself in isolation. I reconnected with an old friend. Me. There'll be a bunch of maybe over in somewhere.
Oh my God! All right. So that's
We should leave that one in there.
That's the blooper reel. That's the blooper reel.
Wow.
Definite blooper reel. Man, did you spit coffee on your computer?
Yeah, I went ahead to get toilet paper to clean it all up. When Sion has the dog, what the F he was looking at, I lost it. I didn't see that coming.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Did you like it, Ben?
Oh, it was great. I think I think you guys should do something like that, like once a week, maybe. That was fantastic.
We said, Simone and I were like, we should do this at least once a month. Just try to put a little bit together like that, because it was really fun to do, and I love that kind of stuff. I thought she did a great job. Obviously, when you have someone that provides as much comedic relief as Sion, it's not hard to do. Sion, was that a fitting tribute to your time in quarantine, sir?
Yeah, I'd say, it's been pretty fitting that it was fun to do. Being in quarantine here, I'm a bachelor, so I live by myself. I started where I was just sleeping on different rooms in my house, After I run out of
Now,
rooms,
hold
I think to the
on.
left.
You said that. You said that when we were doing the thing. Now here's what I don't understand. What the heck does being in quarantine have to do with you sleeping in different rooms in your house that you couldn't have done that any other time? I don't understand.
I was bored, so I just went from room to room, and I've been on the living room floor for like 2 weeks, just sleeping on the floor in my living room. Just threw a blanket down, pillow, sheet, and sleeping on the floor for the last 2 weeks.
Usually, there's too many women swarming that bachelor pad that he's got to go to his room so he gets some peace and quiet.
Oh my gosh, let's not get into that. So wait, I don't know what thought I was going to talk about, but you just sleep on your floor now because it's quarantine and you're bored? Like, I would get it for like, I want to work in a different room, or I don't know. There's different things you can do that throw a little variety in. I do not understand deciding, you know what, I have a nice bed, several nice beds, but I'm gonna sleep on the floor.
Man, the floor is comfortable, man. If you find a comfortable spot, I just stay there.
I will say, Sion does not care where he sleeps.
Sion, are your glasses broken?
Yes, there is one.
Yeah, my glasses is kind of jacked up. I've been quarantined. I can't go get new ones. One of those nights I was sleeping on the floor, I got up and stepped on them. So now I'm like, it's like the old days when people used to do this. So now I'm one of those people now.
Oh my God! Now, Sion, if you notice, Sion wore his contacts for the video. But then when we went back to his house, he threw those bad boys on. Would just have the one earpiece. But that's why you wear that. Now, my question is, how hard was it to remove that banner behind you from the Hilton Coliseum?
You talking about my Iowa State flag here?
Yeah.
I did not steal that banner. I actually, it was a fundraiser for the Cyclone Club. I donated $500 for that banner.
Oh, man, you got to be like that's like gold level status donor. You're a booster now.
That was years ago.
Yeah,
I can't believe Kale couldn't get more than $500 out of you.
Seriously, you have that in a comic book box. Come on now. No, you're a devoted alum. Okay. So we're gonna have Pendleton on he's coming on in 7 minutes. Sion, I don't know, what do you want to talk about, man? You're here. This is your moment.
Should we wait for Pendleton to come on? I love to talk about Pendleton, and he's a head coach now, so I want to talk about what he did to Bobby.
Okay, don't embarrass.
So wait for him to be on?
Yeah, we'll wait for him to be on. Ben, do you have any questions for Sion?
Oh my goodness! What was we all throw our college teammates under the bus at some point, Sion. But Kale's probably he's close to sainthood. Did he ever do anything that was not upstanding? I'll you know what? I'll cop to something. You want to hear something I've never copped to in my whole life, Sion?
What's that?
I've stolen one thing in my life. Only one. I was at the Home Depot. I was walking out. It starts pouring. I take a pause. I don't want to walk out in the pouring rain. And I see this gigantic roll of saran wrap sitting right next to me. And I look at it. And I said, that would be fun to saran wrap someone's car. And I asked someone, I said, hey, do you guys sell those somewhere? And they're like, no, we don't sell them or whatever. I said, okay. I'm like, damn it. I don't usually steal things, but I need to steal this. And I stole the roll of saran wrap and I saran wrapped someone's car that night.
Oh, my God. Dude, I don't know what the statute of limitations is on something like that.
Did Kale ever do anything like that?
No, man. Like I said, the guy's a saint. They're all them Sandersons are saint. I don't think they do anything bad. The only thing I could say of Kale never being a sainthood, one time we were at a house party, and I was drunk because that's what I do at house party. I was drunk. It was at my house. And I have a chess set. I play chess. So he took advantage of me and did cheat. He did cheat a drunk guy in chess.
Oh,
took
really?
Advantage of me when that's the only bad thing I can say about Kale.
He beat you.
How did he cheat? Multiple turns, or what did he do?
Well, considering I can't even remember the game, I think it was cheating. I think he was moving a couple of times when I wasn't paying attention. I think the queen was jumping from one side of the board to the next, but as I was highly inebriated that night, I cannot quite remember.
So you're
at
a house party.
I think he cheated me, and that's the last time I ever played him in chess.
So you're hammered at a house party. You're like, you know what? think I'm gonna play Kalen chess now. Like that is how I don't know if that says how drunk you were or not, but that paints a pretty clear picture that you were definitely under the influence. Like, it's chess time. Kale, where you at? Yeah. So definitely sainthood for the Sanderson brothers all. Okay. So statute of limitations I've learned is 3 to 6 years in Wisconsin. But
No, it was Missouri. It was Missouri. I'm way past. Come on, man. They don't go that long. So you know what's so funny though? You want to hear something funny about that story?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell you his name, but it was a female swimmer, and me and 2 other female swimmers, we saran wrapped a car. Okay, just by happenstance. And I don't know how this lady, she's really nice. I don't know how she got this unlucky, but someone dumped a dead duck on her doorstep that night also. And so I got both of the things blamed on me, and I didn't do it, Piled. I didn't do the duck. I don't know who did it. I don't know why they did it. It wasn't me. I did the saran wrapping, and that was it.
Wow. So, but why was this person such a high target for pranks and shenanigans?
Probably because you got such a good reaction out of her. It was really funny.
Too
high
easy.
strung. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. Okay.
Where's Mr. Pendleton
I've
at?
done many things.
He's
Here's a
coming
good
on.
story.
He's coming on 3 minutes. What were you gonna say, Sion?
You know, things I've done bad. You know, I gotta think about this one. Everybody's been to Vegas. You know, there are some. I'm not gonna mention who because they're probably still upset about this. But you know, you go out down Vegas and you got those service girls that always walk around.
No. What does that mean?
So we arranged for a couple of service girls to go to the wrestler's room.
God.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
God.
Sion.
Are we sure this story is appropriate?
Probably. Well, I'm only gonna leave the appropriate part.
Okay.
The good parts in. So, arranged for 2 service girls. You know, the guy was actually still competing, and he was competing the next day. So, you know, didn't like the guy. So we arranged for the service girl. It was worth the $100 to just show up to this guy's room and make sure he was trying to have a good time. Even though we've never asked what happened, but I'm not gonna say what happened because we all know what happened. But yeah. Or the best is a former Big 12 champion that's not an Iowa Stater. Let's say he went to one of the Oklahoma schools.
Oh my
And,
gosh! You're getting too close. Sion, stop!
Vincent's just gonna give it away here in a second.
I'm not going to give it away, but we're at Club Light.
Well, we got to narrow down to the state and the school and an era. So all right.
We're at Club Light, and then there's me and him, and then we're in the Club Light, and we're sitting there, we're standing there, you know, and then this older lady comes over. She was probably, I don't know, 50, 55, maybe even 60, and she buys us a drink, and he goes, "Hey, see, man, I told her we both play football, and she's all about the Big 12, and she wants to get some drink." I'm like, cool. I'm like, all right. So then he goes, I'm like, well, actually, I don't want to claim the Iowa State football team. They were terrible back then. I was like, oh, man, I'm a wrestler. I'm not claiming the football team. So
Oh my God.
I'm sitting there. She wants to dance with us, so she pulls us both to try to do it, like, you know, dance with her, like sandwich her. So I was like, yeah, I'm not down with that. She's a little too old for me. So at this point, he goes out to the dance floor with her. This older guy comes over and goes, "Man, my wife really likes y'all." I'm like, "Wait, your wife?"
Oh God!
He's
Stop!
Like, he's like,
Stop!
"Yeah,
Stop!"
So he goes, He's like, "Man, can you guys come back to our hotel room with us?" I'm like,
No!
"Yeah,
No!
no."
Stop!
So this guy goes,
Stop!
so
Tristan!
an unnamed
cut
person
him
looks
off.
over and goes, "Hey, come on, man, they gonna give us some
Sion.
money. Let's go." I'm like, "Dude,
Sion,
I'm not-
this is why no one allows you on the podcast. This is why, right here. Oh God.
They muted Sion.
God.
He thinks he's still
Thank
telling
God.
the story.
Thank God they
cut
muted
me
him.
off.
First of all, Sion,
yes.
Sion, you
Yes,
can't.
we cut you off. Yes, we cut you off. You needed to be. Oh,
We already
God.
know it has to be a big person that convinced someone they played football for Iowa State. So now we already know
I
it's a
didn't
large.
name no names."
I know, but now we know he's big. Now we know he went to Oklahoma or Oklahoma State. It's getting better. It's getting really close.
Man, how you gonna cut me off like that?
Because
Oh,
who
God,
knows where it's going? It's
Who
the
knows
problem.
where
You're too
it's
much of a
going?
wild card. It's not. Listen, I know you've been doing a lot of Zoom calls. Okay, this is not a Zoom call. We are broadcasting on the internet worldwide, just like Joe Exotic's TV show. So you can't just say whatever you want. There's implications to this. Okay. So
someone on Facebook said stories with Sion is greater than Alien Hour, and it might just be.
I can't compete with stuff like that.
yeah, you can't compete with it. Listen. All right.
You know-
Listen.
What?
All right. Hold on. We're gonna have Chris Pendleton on very soon. We cannot set him up with anything like that. Okay. We have to be nice to
Okay.
Chris
There's nothing
Pendleton.
like
you can
that.
tell a good story. But for the love
Was
of
it Daniel Cormier? Was it Daniel Cormier?
no, stop. Ben. What in the heck?
Okay. Hey, Piles, can I tell a Vegas story since we're at it? And mine will be way more appropriate than Sion's.
Yes.
You know what I couldn't believe? The one year they had it in Prim, Nevada, the CKLV when I was a senior in college. And so, to set the scene, there's a venue in there, so the wrestling mats are in there, and all of the teams are staying at the one hotel. Every team. So, you know what? I don't drink, but I decided to go out. I was a senior in college. And the van left for the airport at 6:30 a.m. And you know what I couldn't believe? I couldn't believe, and I'm not going to name names like Sion. I couldn't believe how many college coaches I couldn't believe how many college coaches were gambling when I got back to that casino at 6 a.m. I mean, Christian, it was like 20 of them. I was blown away. Bunch of degenerates.
That was my first naive Christian Piles. I'm being told Chris Pendleton will be on in 8 minutes. So naive
Oh my
Christian,
god, we have to do 8 more minutes of Sion stories.
Yeah, we might. Zuckerberg's
We're
going to
getting
pull
kicked
us
off air.
offline. Yeah, we're going to get kicked off air for sure. We're not going to make it.
Sion's not gonna say much.
See, he knows. He does. See, the problem with Sion, he has no idea where the line is. He has no idea. He's just habitual line stepper, Sion Williams. Now, when I first went to Vegas, that was an observation I had where I was like, okay, I'm going to leave. I had an early flight out the next morning, so I'm walking back, and there are coaches still playing, and they're not sober, and they're
Yes.
very drunk, and it's just like, hey, that's part of the fun for them. Afterwards, I guess they're
I love the
athletes and
crap
adults.
table.
We know you do. What Sion? He'll roll up straight. He won't even take his credential off. He'll go from media to walk straight to the craps table. He doesn't even drop off his bag in his room, and he just plays craps for hours on end.
It's so funny. He's standing there at the table and he's got this big media lanyard on still, just
Like
throwing
why?
the dice.
What the heck?
That's the dice.
No.
I like a table that moves. You know what pisses me off is
Let's
when
go.
the dealers they freaking take they slow the table down. You're in a good roll, and then they decided to slow down. Like, pass me the freaking dice. Come on, I'm trying to win here.
You think that
Oh my-
impacts your performance?
Yes, it does. It impacts my mojo.
Why do they slow it down? I've never played craps, nor do I understand it.
Cool you off. If you got a hot end, they want to cool you down.
Come on, that's like ice in the kicker. That doesn't really work.
I believe icing
You
the kicker
realize
definitely
what-
works more than
Icing the dicer.
Ice the dicer.
Hey, you ask anybody who shoot craps, ice the dicer.
Ice-
Speaking of craps, I'll go back and I'm not gonna mention no names. Like,
Uh-oh.
in college, when I first started to shoot craps in college, I had no money, and I didn't have any job. But that's how I paid my rent, in college. It started
You
with
hustled people?
rolling craps for, huh?
You hustled
Man,
people?
When it came rent time, I never lost. Like, it went down there, and there was everybody had their Pell Grants and student loans. There was like $4,000 or $5,000 on the floor at night, and everybody shooting dice. Like, it was all in the dorm rooms. There'd be like 6, 7, 8 people, or sometime, man, the dorm rooms was like, I think there was one night there was like 15 people in them small dorm rooms, and we all shooting craps. It was like, what's the most I ever won on a crap in college? And this was, I think I won like $3,000 one night
Stop.
with some pretty well-named people that I don't mention.
Oh my gosh.
But I like to thank all
Could
those
you
people
could
that
you
saved my-
beat Kale and Dice or no?
Kale's never shot dice.
He has it.
Not
That's
even
not
a
even
Monopoly?
illegal, Sion. That's not even illegal.
He's never shot dice. He's never been in the room with us. But
Okay.
I mean,
Dude, all these Iowa State people have to freak out every time you come on the show because they have no idea what story. If I were one of these people, they're all coaches. They're all like professionals. It's like Sion's gonna come on and tell some ridiculous stories about things I did in college. I'm never gonna live it down.
He's pulling all the
I don't
skeletons
name
out the
names.
closet.
You don't name names, but
I
you
do take bribes.
okay.
Oh.
Very clearly, very
Wow.
clearly. So you knocked out the rent. Okay. Well, I'm just stalling right now. I'm literally untying my
Tell
shoe
us,
on the edge
how
of the
about a
mat.
Kurt Backus story? How about a Kurt Backus story?
Kurt Backus.
You got any of those?
Oh yeah, like Kurt Backus came straight out of high school. He came in the summer, and nobody knew he was coming. So Kurt Backus, literally, his mom.
he just
and
showed
his
up
dad.
kind of like you.
His mom and his dad. One day, like I'm like sitting in my living room. I had my little brother who I moved from New York City. He was going to Ames High and living with me. It was like, so Kurt Backus shows up at our door, and then his mom goes, "Oh yeah, Bobby says you got a room, so Kurt's gonna be staying with y'all for the summer." I'm like, "Who are you?" He's like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "Yeah, Bobby said you guys gonna be taking care of Kurt." I'm like, "We don't have a room." So at this point, like Jacob Moore was one of the wrestlers living with us. Well, Jake went home for the summer. I'm like, and he locked his room door with a key. I'm like, so I called Bobby up. "Hey, Bobby, who is this Kurt kid? What's he doing at my house?" He's like, yeah, take care of him for the summer." I'm like, okay. So the mom goes, "How much is it for rent for Kurt for the summer?" I was like, just give us $2,000. So she writes a check out to cash.
Oh, stop! Oh, shit!
So I'm like,
Mrs. Backus
So for his
knows.
rent-
She knows now.
No,
Played
I didn't
yourself.
say we took care of Kurt. So I'm like, where to put him? And like Jake's room was locked, so I'm like, fuck. I almost cussed. I was like,
No,
so
you did.
So I
You did.
did. And we literally kicked Jacob's door in, and they say, "Hey, Kurt, there goes your room for the summer." So Jake comes back like to come back this summer, like midsummer, just to come hang out for a few days because he went back to Minnesota. He comes in, he sees Kurt sleeping in his bed. He goes, "Who is this guy?" Like, "Sorry, Jake, and Bobby just dropped him off, and well, technically you're paying the rent, but we still have bills for the summer, so we got Kurt." So he's paying it. So Jake's like, "Oh, okay." So Jake goes and sleeps on the couch for the weekend. He came back to town, while Backus goes, "Hey man, this guy Jacob Moore says I'm in his room. Am I supposed to get out?" Like, "Nah, you're good." Jake's back to sleep
Oh
on
my
the couch.
god.
Man, y'all ran a tight ship down there. $2,000.
You owe Mrs. Backus some money.
Yeah, 2,000.
Yeah.
Hey, that was for
That's
that paid for his food, his room, and everything for the summer.
Who didn't you
You
hustle
cook
at
for
Iowa
him?
State?
Hey, I cooked for Kurt. We cooked for him. We drove him around. We took care of him that summer.
Man, I guess he learned a lot. I mean, talk about that. I guess he was at Blair. Was he a day student or did he live there? Maybe you don't know that, Sion. But he went to Blair, I know. So maybe his
I think
first
he was a living
experience.
student.
Yeah, I feel like he was. I think I heard that.
Oh snap!
Hey, Chris is finally here. He showed up. We had no more Sion
Looked
stories.
like he just woke up.
Hey, remember Chris is on that West Coast time, and FRL is pretty dang early. So I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's not the
coach.
thing. It's, remember, it switches time zones. Ben, you should know that. Hey, remember,
Yeah.
like when somebody says Central Time, I have to like think about it for a second.
So we got.
Oh,
all right.
yeah.
So Sion's.
Willie ran that article, and I like people on the East Coast. There's like about 5 people that aren't going to get the job just because they called and texted me so early in the morning.
All right. Hey, well we're. All right. So hey, coach, we're on right
Chris.
now with Sion.
We're,
This is happening.
Go ahead.
Okay, so here's the deal. Sion has a story he's been wanting to tell about you during your recruitment time. He's been wanting to tell it, and I said, okay, fine, let's go. So he's going to tell the story y'all can talk about, then Sion's going to go.
Okay.
I think Chris actually was at a party at my house on his recruiting trip. But
Sion.
I think the best.
It's gonna be fine, Chris. I've already told him. I said he can't say anything
I'm just
bad.
saying,
We think it's gonna be
Nothing bad,
fine, but
like-
we're not really sure because it's Sion.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's nothing bad. I'm like, hey, Chris, congratulations on being a head coach. You know, it's gonna be a hard job getting them recruits. People are gonna commit to you or decommit to you, but it's gonna be a hard job. But I'm gonna talk about Chris Pendleton's recruiting and what he did to Bobby. And Bobby didn't forgive him for like 10 years. Bobby probably still hasn't really forgiven him. Chris technically was gonna come to Iowa State, and then somehow John Smith snuck in there and got Chris to go on a recruiting trip, and Chris decided to go to Oklahoma State. So Bobby flies out thinking Chris is coming out to go meet the parents. Bobby shows up at Chris's front door, and then while he's at Chris's front door, like his parents goes out, Chris is not here. They call Chris on his cell phone, like, hey, Chris, didn't you tell Bobby you committed to Ohio State? Oklahoma State, sorry. I always screw up school names. We all know that. So Chris is like, no, I told him. Like, Bobby's here, and he says you didn't tell him. So Bobby comes back to Iowa, and he's like, yeah, that freaking kid Pendleton had me come out there and then committed Oklahoma State. I don't like that kid.
So
But let's hope you never have that opportunity happen to you, Chris.
All right. Well,
You should call Bobby and say, Bobby, I understand your pain now.
well, first,
I'm just kidding.
you have like 25% of the story right. Like that's like the lowest.
I'm going by Bobby's story.
That's right. This is what I figured was gonna happen. All right, set the record straight.
Okay, one. Bobby kept me in an office as like a 17-year-old kid for about 3 hours before I said, yes, I'm coming here. I'm done.
Oh,
This sounds like making a murder interrogation of Brandon Dassey. He just wore you down.
You guys learned some old school tactics from the great Bobby Douglas. Because then, like, they kept me in there, him and Tommy Ortiz and Bono, and I was like, yeah. And they're like, okay, now cancel your trip to Oklahoma State. And I knew actually that, I really wanted to be a Cowboy. So then the next weekend I go, fall in love with Stillwater, all that. I come back, and this is where your story gets really, really wrong, Sion. I keep calling Bobby. And back then there was no cell phone. You're talking about 1999, right? Zach Morris had the cell phone. So Bobby sure didn't have a cell phone, and the poor kid, I sure didn't have a cell phone either. I had a pager. So I kept calling. He kept saying, like, oh, I want to see you in person. So then I'm playing basketball with my friends. My mom pages me. I go to the phone bank and call, and she's like, Bobby's at the Fresno airport. So I had to call Bobby at the Fresno airport, and I was like, I told you I committed to Oklahoma State. And he's like, oh, that's fine. And then just hung up the phone on me. And then the next year, we go to wrestle in Ames. I get pulled out of redshirt February 7th, and we go to wrestle in Ames. And they had just started doing the drawing the weights. And like right when we were walking in, John's like, by the way, you're going to be going first against Heskett. And I was like, well, they got to draw. He was like, yeah. So then they happened to draw 165 in my first college match. I got the first takedown on Joe Heskett, and then I got teched.
Oh my gosh! Holy cow!
Are you saying we cheated with the draw, man?
Oh no, yeah, because I remember everybody was in the line, like in the Hilton Coliseum, and Joe and Gail were wearing like the robes, and I was like, I looked at Pat, I was like, why are those guys wearing robes? He's like, don't worry about it. I was like, all right.
So wow,
Hey.
some accusations there, some weight rigging there. Start making Pendleton have to wrestle Joe Heskett first. Holy cow! But you got that first takedown. They can't take that away from you.
Yeah, I thought I was good.
All right, well, Sion,
Well,
you've ruined enough
I'm gonna head
lives
out.
for one day. Just get the heck out of here.
Once again, congratulations, Chris, and good luck at the job at Oregon State.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, there's Sion Williams. Holy cow, he's a wild ride. You should have heard the stories he was telling before about.
God.
He's a maniac. So, all right. First of all, Coach Pendleton, congratulations. Are you in Corvallis yet? Or are you like stuck in Arizona? How has the job change have impacted your moving with the coronavirus and all that craziness? First.
Right now with the COVID situation, I decided, everything's remote, working remote anyway. I can't go on campus. I can't go into my office. So at the end of the day, I just said, you know what, why kill myself? So I'm still here in Arizona, and I'm getting ready next week to move out.
Nice. Well, obviously you two and Ben are linked because of your rivalry over the years, and you beating him twice in the NCAA finals, and y'all had some crazy matches, two of which I've watched recently. I had only seen these matches in the last week, Coach, and so I thought it'd be fun to have you two guys on here, watch some at least one of the matches together, and talk through some of the bouts. But I thought before we got going, just to get a sense of kind of your each perspective on the other, and what maybe, Chris, were some of the more surprising things about Ben that maybe you weren't expecting when you first wrestled him, or the first couple times you wrestled him?
I got a funny story to tell Ben real quick, because not a lot of people know this. Last summer, I was sitting in the Columbia airport about to take the associate head job at Missouri. And I had sat down with Brian Smith, and when you hear him talk about Tiger Style and everything, like he had me sold. And I remember sitting in the Columbia airport, and one of the deciding factors was I didn't want to be asked about Ben Askren every single day.
Oh!
Everywhere I went, somebody had asked me about you, and I was like, you know what? I can't do it. I really can't do this.
Oh, I apologize.
Yeah, well, I decided, I was like, you know what? I can do one more year at Arizona State. I came back, said I got one more year in me, and then we'll see what happens. But I was like that close.
Man. So I would understand it. If the shoe were on the other foot, and like this was the guy that beat you and kept you from winning. But you had the upper hand against Ben, and you beat him twice in NCAA finals. Why was it still so? Why did you have such a visceral reaction to that?
Oh, you don't want to be linked to one person, and especially in a day-to-day working environment. But I was only halfway kidding. There was other factors. Like the office I was going to have, this picture was like a huge life-size picture right next to me. I'm like, that's what I got to walk into my office every single day. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Oh man. Well, so I want to talk a little about this match and the first time you wrestled Ben and Ben wrestled you, and this is I remember this Flow video. I think Martin interviewed you about this, and you said, I'm Larry Owings, and you tell this whole story about this match, and you tell it in vivid detail, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to see this match. I've wanted to see it since I heard that interview. Do you know what year you did that interview, Chris?
That was like 2007. Here's the crazy thing. So until this week, those two matches, I had never seen them. I actually ever had watched them.
Really?
Ever. There's a huge misconception about Oklahoma State. People think that we are way more into film than we actually are. We watch film, but not to the level that a lot of other schools do on these in-depth scouting reports and everything. So, and then somebody from those golden years that we had where we won 4 titles, somebody went in and stole all of our film. So me, Esposito, yeah, we don't have any of our matches.
Dang.
It's a real bummer. So I had actually never watched that the first match we wrestled and the match that you beat me in the Big 12 until this week. Okay,
to set the stage before we get into it, some of you may not know the full Chris Pendleton Ben Askren rivalry. They overlapped. Chris's junior and senior year overlapped with Ben's freshman and sophomore year. They met in the NCAA finals twice. Chris won those. They met how many times over the course? Was it 6 or 7 times?
8.
8 times. And it was one. Ben got him once, and then it was everywhere else. It was Pendleton. So that was a sense of the rivalry. Sorry, Ben. Sorry.
You had in the freestyle win, so
there was freestyle.
Oh, boo!
Y'all wrestled in freestyle too.
Yeah.
I remember that. I
lost to him to make a University World Team, and I lost to him in the semifinals of the World Team Trials in 2005 in Ames.
Yeah, so I remember
when
one more.
There was one later.
I don't remember later. I went down a
Sunkist.
weight class.
It was at 84, I think.
Oh, you're right. At Sunkist when I came back. Oh, you son of
This
a.
dude,
Okay.
I had like a big lead. I had a big lead, and like I was like, all right, just don't let him get on top. Get the his high gut series going. And I'm talking like end of the match. Like I had my leg up in there, and I kind of like gave up the takedown where I was making sure my head was going out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like yells, "No, get your butt back in here!" and drags me to the middle. Will Kelly was in my corner. I remember looking like as I'm getting drugged back to the middle, Will fell out of his chair laughing. And I was so mad at that. I was like so livid. Like this guy dragging me. I'm winning the match. He's dragging me to the middle of the match. I was
Oh my gosh.
I forgot. I didn't even think about that match till you said that. Oh my gosh.
So the first match we're gonna have is the infamous puke match, Chris, and we can go through it. But maybe I want both of your perspective. What was the 2000 whatever year this was? Chris Pendleton and Ben Askren thinking coming into this match. First, you, Chris.
I knew that he was tough because he had beat, I think, Robbie Waller in an open tournament. I think it was Robbie. And so, but, before then, it was a lot of, no social media and everything, so it was not a lot of hype. I knew he was tough. I didn't know how tough he would be.
And what were your credentials coming into this? What had you done so far as an NCAA wrestler coming into this match?
I got upset at the NCAA tournament, and I finished third, and I'd come into the season ranked number 1.
So you were number 1 at the time of this match.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And then Ben, were you nationally ranked at this point?
I think they maybe put me in there like 16 or somewhere. This is literally the first match of the season, I believe November at some point. It's at a high school in St. Louis. I don't remember. I think one of the Hazelwood schools maybe. So I had taken, I think second at the UWW Juniors. Well, it was called something else back then. I lost to Kurt Backus, the aforementioned Kurt Backus, but I did beat JD Bergman at I think at 185 pounds.
Oh my
so
gosh!
I did decent UWW Juniors.
That was more chunky Ben than funky Ben at 184.
Well, that was when the weight classes were 163 or 185. There was such a big gap.
I think I stole that one from Chris. Maybe I think he was just about to say that. So we're coming into this match. It's number 1 Chris Pendleton versus maybe number 16 Ben Askren. And why don't we pull that up and we'll pause briefly. And as you guys have any observation you want to make, we can stop and talk about some of the pivotal moments. If you're listening on a podcast, it's not going to be as fun because literally you could be, if you're on the video right now, you see Ben Askren and Chris Pendleton wrestling each other. Pendleton in the orange and Ben in the black from Missouri.
Right here is where I knew something was up.
Okay, so you tried to throw the near leg in, and Ben's like doing whatever he's doing. So what are your thoughts now?
That's called the Peterson, Christian.
Well, I know, but you don't have the arm, so it's hard to Peterson from there.
This is where it gets where it's annoying. Like I'm like, what is happening? Like, give me my points.
All right, pause it real quick, Caleb. So I have a question. One thing I know.
This is the area against Ben it's a losing battle. So everybody talks about the scrambling and the funk and flexibility. It's his strength that really was the thing that surprised me. When he gets his hands locked, I was actually like, wow, this is crazy.
So, so at this point, he's in on this single leg.
Ooh.
And now he hooked my heel, and I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Now imagine Ben Askren in danger role. This would be interesting. Almost stacks him up, runs his double.
The danger rule is overrated. If you look at Yanni or any of the great scramblers, I mean, it didn't even affect Yanni at all.
Right. No, you're probably right about that. So Ben is up 2-0. How was the cut for you down to 74, Chris?
So here's the deal.
You're a big person.
I was hurting pretty bad, and somebody, I can't remember who, right before the match, gave me a AvoCare POS2 for the first time, and I tried to supplement that I shouldn't have tried. Supplements, you have to take them a little while, let your body get adjusted. I just said, yeah, I'll try it. And right now, I'm hurt.
Right now?
Right now, I'm hurting 30 seconds into the match. If you see, I'm not level changing anymore. I'm not popping. My feet aren't moving. And I'm standing really high up in my stance.
Okay, and what are you thinking in this moment, Ben? You feeling good?
Dude, I don't remember what I was thinking at this point in time. Probably just go score some more points or wrestle him or try to pin him, something to that effect. I tried to keep the thought process as simple as possible when I was wrestling.
Okay. All right, we're in again. Here we go. Far ankle.
Yeah, and this is
like
another
the
one
beginning
that,
of the.
Oh boy.
That's like the beginning of the far ankle series for me, where I was figuring out that scramble, but and no one else was really doing it at that point.
Nothing yet. Ben's got him.
No, I'm getting back points at the. Oh yeah.
Look at Chris.
I got 2 and 2 there.
So 2 and 2. So right now it's 6-1.
6-1.
It's 6-1 in favor of number 16 Ben Askren of Missouri. It's pretty loud in this moment. What kind of motivation does John Smith give you in times like these, Chris?
at times like these, you don't look at the corner. You look at anywhere but John.
So end of the first period. Oh, end of the first period there.
For people who weren't able to watch a lot of you wrestle, Ben. And so at the end of one, it's 6-1 Ben Askren, right? Because you got the right out the end, so it's 6-1. Was it a typical Chris Pendleton match? You obviously won, but were you in a lot of shootouts? Were you? Was it normal for you to give up early points and come back? What was a kind of your typical, if they were to say, yeah, this is a very normal Chris Pendleton match, what would it look like? Probably not like this.
I don't think. Well, I think it's probably the only time I got out to. Well, besides the Big 12 one, where I got out to a lead. But the most annoying thing was his strategy would change every time, or at least that's how I felt. And for example, I would work on something, and then I know our sophomore year, he freaking rode me out, and I got a reversal with like 10 seconds left. I lost 4-3 on a ride time point in Stillwater. It's like he never ever tried to ride me, just basic ride before that. And so it was so annoying because I would try to prepare for something, and then whatever I was preparing for, I would get something different. And I always thought that was, to me, that was super annoying.
Was that something you thought of, Chris? Like, I got to change it up every time because he's doing something a little different?
No, as it was kind of going and I started figuring out, with Ben, it was just there were some very key areas I couldn't get into. And it wasn't really like the scramble areas. It was if I had a front headlock cradle, which you're going to see in this match, was this. You would feel something and then you would just know to stay out of that later on. So front headlock. I started keying in on it.
Did you see a snap? Hey, go back 10 seconds. That is on. I've never listen. Ben has heavy hands, but I've never seen him snap someone like that. That was wild.
It's easy to snap somebody like that. Look at this. Look how tired I am. Come on.
Yeah, this is not right. It's not right. Yeah, though. Oh my word. It's all right. Hey, it was no points, so who cares? You
call me Baby Pico.
I looked, so first time I watched this match, I literally was like, this can't be the one Chris wins. Because at different points in this, I'm like, Chris is so tired right now. There's no way he's coming back in this. I was like, Ben sent me the wrong match or something because there's no way he wins this one. Is this one of the key examples of when you really had to dig deep in a match, Chris?
Yeah. I honestly, like I said, I don't remember. I mean, like, that is a little embarrassing right now, kind of hurting my brain. But I don't remember it. I just remember just knowing I had to go. Can you guys actually pause it right there?
Yeah, pause.
You gotta rewind it.
Go back just a little bit.
I'm gonna tell you another funny story. So just move it back just a little bit, right on the other side of my face. You guys can't see it. So my high school teammate of mine, Ben Vincent, I can't even remember his last name right now. He lived next to you in the apartments at the same time. He's in the crowd. I just
really?
Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
Whoa.
The white
Ah.
shirt, black, right there. Right. He's literally on the other side of the place. Yeah, he lived right next to you in the apartment. Small
man.
world.
That is a small world. All right, so we're back to action. Chris Pendleton is tired. What were your go-to leg attacks, Chris? Educate the people. What are the takedowns you're looking for more often than not?
I always kind of prided myself on being able to like wrestle in all positions. So I had an underhook, upper body stuff. Against Ben, I started hitting a run inside shot instead of just a traditional like post high crotch like I normally would do. And then I tried double legs like that, which. And then low singles, but for him, I mainly stuck to run insides, and I hit one hard power double in one match. I think actually this match.
You hit a nice double in this match. Yep.
I
should have finished the scramble right here. Would have won. Damn it.
Yeah, I would have. So
I'm so close to the takedown here.
I'm so close to the edge.
Yeah.
boy.
He's feeling it. This is the moment I'm like, he does not come back in this match. I was like, there's no way. He's tired right now. He can't do it. And sure enough.
I should have I didn't know how to stall. That's what I should have done. When I get taken down, I should have just stalled. And it wasn't in the way I thought about wrestling, but I should have done it.
Yeah, it could.
The other thing that was so annoying for me was
that's
a double. Was whenever I got in singles, and it didn't really happen in this match, but Chris had a really good shin wizard. I would never score from it, and that was so annoying.
All right, watch. Don't do it, Ben. Oh no! You just saw it coming. He crunched it so nice. Did he trick you or what? Why did you step up?
Yeah, I felt like I was gonna escape or something.
I couldn't get the exposure. And I had to like start bridging into him.
Yeah, that was
weird.
And
then here now they gave points, and
dumb.
I'm like, I can steal another turn.
Because you have that bottom
this
leg.
I start throwing up right here.
Yeah, he threw up my back. How gross.
Oh, that's where he's throwing up?
Disqual. He's tapping up.
All right, freeze. Go back just a little bit. Go back just a little bit. All right, so it's right on. He's going for another turn. And I think once he starts slapping the mat, it's when you know something went terribly wrong.
Yeah, I'm in a leg turk in the cradle position, and I'd give that up. I remember I started just running out and looking at all the Oklahoma State people like, what? You're about to turn him. Pat's like, did you really just throw up? I was like, yeah.
What had you ever thrown up in a match or even a practice before?
No, not on somebody.
Oh my goodness. Who's in your corner right there? That's Brian Smith. Was that Bart Horton also? Who else was in your corner, Ben?
Right, yeah, probably Bart Horton.
And then it was John. Was it John and Pat Smith?
Look how young Brian looks there, though. Isn't that fantastic?
He's sharp.
So young.
Yeah, John.
Yeah,
So okay, we got the cleaning crew.
This was the first time Missouri ever beat Oklahoma State too. Even though I failed to do my job here, it was the first time ever.
But how many people were missing?
We were missing people too. Irrelevant. We were missing also.
Jake Roosevelt, a 3-time national champion. That's no big deal.
Listen, you just gotta show up with who you got.
Hey, I'll give it. The first time they beat, and I remember like we had a 6-hour bus ride back, and I don't know if John ever trained through Missouri again after that.
Yeah, I guess not.
Well, no, you didn't. You didn't drive back because you beat me 2 days later at the. You got a reversal at the end when I tried cradling you at the Missouri Open.
You wrestled 2 days later.
2 days later, I started my career 3-2 because I lost to him twice.
That's like David Taylor. He lost his first match or something ever, and then in high school that is. And he went on to win a bunch. So, all right, right now,
What's the score?
Yeah, great question. I think it's
7-7. They just went to overtime. He rode me out.
Yeah, so he gets the takedown. He got the cradle. He got the puke, and now ride out. And now we're in sudden victory. It's 7-7 after it was a 7-1 lead for Ben Askren. Going into the third. Going into the
Shut
third.
I just should have stalled.
Okay,
If I could
I
tell my
decided
younger
to-
self, I would tell my younger self, stall it out.
my-
Just sit down there.
You look kind of
Oh,
cradled
this is
here,
the
Ben.
cradle.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's all right, though. I was going to get. Oh, come on, call it, ref. Oh, the ref should have called. The ref should have called that one.
Call what?
He was on his back. Didn't you see it?
Oh, no, I missed it.
Rewind it.
On his back?
Caleb,
Jeez.
come on, rewind it.
All right, here we go.
Okay, watch
Here's the
right here.
cradle.
I'm going to put him on his back. Boom, right there.
cradle.
1,000.
You're in
2,
a cradle,
1,000.
Ben.
Yeah, but it was all. It was a setup. It was a setup.
A setup.
It wasn't.
It actually was a setup, as we learned in a later match. Okay, so all right, Chris is feeling it, but he's got the heart of a champion, is what we're learning about this man. He's
Who's
taking
the referee? I want to find this guy.
taking
The
random
stall.
supplements. You got hit for stalling for that?
Oh, you should have got hit twice, probably. You probably should have hit twice.
Oh, double to single. He's got him in the splits. Oh, this is bad. You finished multiple times on Ben this way, including like the NCAA finals with that single.
It's like
Oh, dang it.
What were you saying, Chris?
Oh, my.
it's freestyle. When you take the support the support point off the mat, you eliminate a lot of that, a lot of the like a pet trap feel. You take it away.
And that was the takedown in sudden victory, which sealed the win, the epic win, a legendary win for Chris Pendleton. So, okay, after that match ends, and then what are you thinking?
Oh, I got yelled at. I remember I'm laying behind the bench because that was the first match out. I'm laying behind the bench, and we didn't. Brett Munson went out. We didn't have Jake Rochelle, and things started like steamrolling. Where I was like, "Oh my God, we're going to lose this duel." I knew that it was going to be a lot of fingers were going to be pointed at me, as it should, because I was, ranked number one in the country and one of the team captains, and he let me have it.
So, okay, talk about how did the next match
second
go?
one,
What'd you say?
I don't know if you guys can hear sound, but that Big 12 match, just listen for John's voice, and you will hear him say some things that I'll tell the whole story for that when we watch that match.
Okay, we can get to that. We can definitely get to that in a second. So you wrestled him again 2 days later, which you maybe didn't even remember happened, but that happened. What was your thoughts? Like, man, I got to wrestle this guy again. Were you like, crap, I just need it? Were you like, you know what, I got something to prove here. I'm gonna make sure he knows it wasn't a fluke when I came back on him.
I honestly, I remember it was like the St. Louis Open or Lindenwood Open. I can't remember.
No,
what it was.
Missouri.
Missouri. I don't really remember. I don't remember how the match went down. I remember feeling a lot better and actually going in thinking, okay, now I'm going to start whooping this guy. And then it was.
You got a last second reversal to win that match. It was too later that you beat me.
The thought process going that I was like, I was dead. Yeah, can you argue that there was a difference in me in the two matches? I wasn't puking and dragging my leg around the mat. Like, I felt better physically and thought I was going to dominate in a closer match. So I didn't have that excuse anymore. So thank you.
All right.
So eight total meetings, not counting freestyle. That is kind of epic. How would you describe the evolution of? I mean, y'all ain't like boys or exchanging Christmas cards, but when did it get to a point, or maybe was it always at a point where you're like, if I see you in the airport or if we see each other, we can chat and have like cordial conversations?
I don't know that. I mean, I don't have anything. I kind of like Chris, but I don't know that we've ever had like a super long sit down or hung out or anything. But we've chatted when we see each other.
No, I mean, we'd be. I remember we played poker that one time at the Olympic Training Center.
Oh yeah.
Matt Pale ate 2 entire pizzas. I was just kind of watching them. And... No, it was funny because Max and I would always talk. I actually really enjoyed always talking and sitting down with Max. He's like, a really interesting guy. Like, he'll tell you some crazy stories about Japanese literature and just random stuff. So he was fun. And I remember we were playing poker at the OTC on the 3rd floor, and it came down to me and Ben at the end, and I won. And then Ben got up and left, and Max and I were sitting there. He's like, "Man, he can't beat you at anything." We were both. So don't get mad at Max. Don't get mad at Max. It was a funny story.
Jeez,
Then
man.
we had one where our mutual friend, well, when I say friend, friend for Ben, acquaintance of mine, Daniel Cormier. We were going.
Are you calling him
with
acquaintance? You're not calling Daniel a friend?
He's an acquaintance. He's an acquaintance.
I'm gonna get him on. He needs to defend himself.
You call him Lucy, I call him Daniel.
Why?
No, we were
why is he
eating
just
that-
an acquaintance? Oh my gosh.
I'll tell you, because he does things like this story. I'm not gonna throw him too much under the bus, but Daniel, we were eating at Nobu, and I remember he invited me to come eat. And I walked up, and there was like a table of like 8 people, and there was 2 empty chairs, and I was like, all right. He said, no, sit right here. And I was like, okay. So I went and sat down. I'm like, why is there this like empty chair right next to me? And then I saw Ben walk in the restaurant. I just looked at Daniel. I was like, come on, man. He's like, gotcha. I was like, just bring it. That's Daniel. He likes to stir the pot and make it interesting.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
sounds about right.
as we mentioned, this is a match I had never seen until I watched it actually this morning, one time before. And this is another really good match too. Very exciting, and it got back into some positions where, kind of the cradle and I don't know what you call that position, Ben, where you end up in a cradle. But there's some really exciting. It's another exciting match. Chris was kind of storming his way back here. But what year Big 12s was this for you guys?
This same year, so this is 2004. Yeah, 2004.
So 2004. So it was your freshman year, Big 12s, Ben, and
Correct.
Chris, your junior year. Okay. So we're going to play this one now. Go ahead, Caleb. We're ready to roll here. Talk a little bit about this match. Was this at Iowa State? Sion claims it was, but
It was. Wow, some heavy hand time there.
yeah, that's
This is
what
where,
I noticed.
this is
too.
where
Y'all were clubbing
Sion's-
early.
Sion stole the banner from.
He definitely did. Ben, you tried to get front headlock a lot on Chris.
Yeah.
Was that
Well, I
something?
couldn't let him. I didn't want to let him shoot. Yeah, I didn't want to let him shoot from the outside, obviously, because that was where he had the most success on me. And then I actually pinned EK Waldhouse for the first time in the semis of this, so I was feeling pretty good going into the finals.
One thing
Yeah,
I
yeah,
noticed.
that-
Go ahead, Chris.
That made me so upset. He would always pin the guys that would like give me some. Like EK was a hard matchup for me. Tyler Nix was a hard matchup for me.
Dang.
Why not? Let's get
Oh,
Cradle.
there it is.
Uh-oh.
Whoa,
So,
what's
yeah,
going
it was
on
like
here?
the hero wound it. So it was like a little drag go behind.
I tried Granbying, I failed.
Yes. So near side cradle for Pendleton here.
I had really good cradle defense.
Evidently, because I was like, he's going over. I mean, his knee is behind his head.
Maybe that's why my hip doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, I worry. And then, now look at this. Is some this call I don't get. What were the college out of bounds rules at this point?
Oh,
they-
come on,
Go
ref!
back. Go back.
Oh,
Go back.
I got robbed.
Matt awareness.
No, what's that ref's name? He's Oklahoma State Homer. What's his name?
Oh my
No,
gosh.
that's he's a good man.
Now, what is wait, I'm asking a legitimate question here. Pause it real quick. What are
I
college
think I
out of
got
bounds
cheated. I
rules
think I
in
got
this time?
cheated.
2 feet out bounds, I think.
I don't remember.
Okay. So I watched this. I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. The rules could have changed or blew that call. But so you had the near side cradle locked up. Are you thinking he's going over earlier in the cradle? And when are you like, this is different, Chris?
Even in the NCAA finals, like I just couldn't stop. Like I knew I couldn't cradle him, but it was like just dangle it out there, and I was like, "All right, I'm gonna try." I remember it was like a year. I'm riding him. I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna probably ride him out," and then all of a sudden, just saw that cradle open up, try to jump to it, and it was fool's gold.
Man, well, you got it.
This
but
is where
to be fair,
I would get here a whole bunch and never score. This is so annoying.
Well, it doesn't look like a
Almost
great
got
position,
scored
Ben.
on. Well, it was earlier. It wasn't so bad.
Yeah,
I
so
don't know. In this position, we ended up, I don't know how many times.
So many
probably why my
times.
knee-
I barely.
one thing I noticed about your matches, Ben, against Chris, your head is on the mat so much of the time during exchanges, where that's generally regarded as kind of a weak position from a strength perspective. But you would end up
Head high, and wins the scramble is the dumbest thing ever. It
Well,
drives
that's
me
not
crazy
what I'm
when people
saying.
say that.
Oh, where'd he
Okay.
go? I'm not saying
Oh,
head high
nice
wins.
step
I'm
on
saying
it.
your head is buried on the mat. Like your head is on the mat. It's just like not a very common.
Rewind that one.
Oh yeah, go back. We got it because this is a big exchange in the match right here.
So so Christian, pause. You were
Pause
talking
it.
about how our matches always like played out differently. I've never hit that shot. I don't know where that little duck came from.
You hit it
So
later
I-
in the
so-
match for real, and you get a takedown on it.
But what I'm saying is, go ahead and look at any other match I ever wrestled in, or even
Yeah.
against Ben. I don't know if I ever looked for that again. Now I'm in my offside crackdown, and I'm about to go into my offside low single position, which I mean is just like it's like completely flip flop of my normal offense.
Got it. So you just think you just impulsively just kind of took the shot, and then you're like, oh wait, maybe I shouldn't have done
Sometimes you
this.
have to take what people give you, and
Yeah.
I don't know. The match just kind of.
Oh yeah, the ref's name was Kenny Ritchie, Chris. He was definitely Oklahoma State Homer.
No, it's just a coincidence. I'm the godfather for his nephew. I mean, it's just a coincidence.
Oh, what?
Are you right?
No, yeah, remind. You got Homer. If I was dating Fix's dad, he used to referee our matches. Then I'm like, yeah, okay, a little bit of a Homer. Kenny does it on the NCAA finals.
Oh man. Okay, so let's get back to this key position here. Pendleton's in on a shot, and Askren's got the leg picked up. Oh boy, I've seen this in the DVD series, Ben.
So this is a counter that my left hip should be straight down, and it wasn't. Now I know I'm in trouble here.
And he's over.
Oh, I hear Bart Horton yelling.
How many times did you put him on his back? Is this the only time you locked up a cradle on him, Ben?
Well, that first dual meet
Right.
I got 2 points. Oh, he tried doing my own move to me there. Oh, come on, Kenny Ritchie.
Kenny ain't calling the
Help
fall.
her out.
There's more wrestling to
I love how
happen.
Ben's cheering like he does, like he thinks he'll get the pin this
He
time.
might, yeah, you might get the pin.
He might. Kenny Ritchie might. I'm throwing. Brian Smith should have thrown the brick on this one.
There's no bricks. There's no college out of bounds rules. It's Kenny Ritchie. It's the Kenny Ritchie show. What, they give you 2 near fall there?
No, I had to get 3. I had to get 3, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. All right. So what is the score now? Because you got the takedown, Chris, with the near side, and the 2-1 escape, and then he got 5 there. So
6-2.
is it 6-2 right now?
Yeah,
Going into
sounds
the.
all right.
Are we going into the second?
Yeah.
Oh
Second,
my gosh.
6-3 now.
6-3 now. Oh, post. That's nice.
Ooh.
It's a good shot there.
Yeah, again, that right hip should be down, flat. Yeah. I was still on the How Low Can You Go series, like part 2. John hadn't really fixed the low single yet. But even this, like, normally I finish.
Yeah, you're.
And this is almost he almost dislocated my shoulder in the NCAA finals. That same position right there.
Really? Oh, I see. Because
Yeah.
your arms caught there. Oh.
Yeah, and you can
Interesting.
watch my senior. You get the exact same thing, and my arm was really caught. And this is where you guys can hear this. Listen to John, like he starts screaming at me to get in there, go. I mean, he was on me. But leading up to that, I was starting to crack during practice. I was starting to have some really bad practices, and John was just really on my butt. And then I just started dating a girl.
Uh-oh.
This is hand to God truth. I started dating a girl, and she was like, well, I want to come up to watch Big 12s in Iowa. And she was roommates and friends with Zach Esposito's wife. And I told her, I was like, no, you can't go. So, unbeknownst to me, she went. And when we got to the hotel, I remember we were getting ready to leave for the fight, and I walk out of my hotel room, and she comes out of her hotel room across the hall from me. And I'm like,
Chris, they should have slapped the mat there.
Yeah.
Oh
But
my
anyway,
god.
me and my girlfriend are talking, and the door next to me opens, and John Smith walks
Oh
out,
my
and he makes
gosh.
eye contact with me, and I'm like, right here, this position, that's what he would always get mad at me. Look at him over there.
Oh.
Because he
Now-
was yelling at me that I do the lazy work, that I don't put the lift in, because I was just like, I was like, I can't win.
What's happening right now? Are we getting? Hold on.
I think we got injury time.
Did you whirly bird it?
Yeah, he freaking hurt me all the time.
So whirly bird, we're back in action. Chris got some pep in his step. He's coming. You hit a beautiful duck under here in a little bit, Chris. I'm sure you saw it. So you go 2-on-1 to the post. That's a really nice shot too.
That was an under.
I give that.
Oh.
Ooh, that was a close one.
Well, obviously Kenny didn't like me either.
We couldn't make it too obvious.
Oh my goodness. So we're in the third
All right,
period
so-
now, right?
I think
Yeah.
it's 7-3, but
Ben has his kung fu grip on me.
oh yeah.
How hard was Ben to open up for you, Chris?
My strategy, like later on, it became just don't go down 7-1. That became my first strategy, and then I would always try to just get that first takedown and make them come to me.
Smart.
Not to knock it, but Ben didn't have a lot of setup. There was a lot of just don't let him get his hands locked. Because if you get his hands locked, it's a different story.
Yeah.
So that's why I'd
Oh, I
always
can't believe
start
I-
moving lateral.
How much of a credit?
Oh wait, hey, sorry. I gotta remember. I wanted to ask this twice,
Pause,
Christian, and I
Caleb.
forgot.
Go ahead.
No, oh, it's not about the match. I mean, oh damn it. Yeah, let's ignore
Hold on,
that.
let's see that one again. Let's catch that one again.
No, I gotta.
Probably something good for Chris.
Let me ask a question. Where did Chris Pendleton go? Oh, he's so gone.
Boo.
That was
Oh, that's so
beautiful.
good. Hey,
That was
Chris,
beautiful.
tell these guys I've alleged multiple times that more than half of the Oklahoma State team was married while I was in college. Can you tell them that is true?
Yeah.
See,
My freshman
they-
year, 6 out of 10 starters were. Not this team, though. Not these teams.
No.
None of us were married.
Well, I thought Maka was married, and was it Hendricks?
No, not Johnny.
Are you sure?
Mako,
No, Hendricks was married in college for sure.
I'm pretty
No.
sure. And Esposito maybe too.
I remember, Chris. I remember
guys,
watching.
I was at the wedding, so you weren't married in college. Like, I was literally there. Rewind.
Yeah, go back real quick.
Uh-oh.
This was one thing that we worked. He would always pull my head under that football position, so I was saving that in the back pocket. This high crotch right here. I'd give him my head, then drop to the high crotch.
Wow, that was a nice little flip over there for the finish. Well, here comes the finish.
So you want to
Oh,
talk about stalling? How about when you just grab your leg and you're trying to cut him? That's stalling.
yeah. All right. So what's the score now? It's pretty
I
close.
think it's 9-7.
Oh my gosh.
9-7. And you
Can't
guys
be much
got to
time
see,
left.
like, you got to see
Oh!
John. I want you to don't pay attention to John. Pay attention to John here. This could almost be 2. He's not even worried about. He's not even worried about it. He's yelling at me. He is writing.
A little something here at the end.
I have no idea.
Classic double handshake here.
Yeah, that's annoying. Come on.
I know. It's like, relax, dude. Come on, Kenny
All right,
Ritchie.
so right there, you see in the left screen, you see Jake's coming out.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know why I'm pointing. You guys can't see. John, when you lost, and I mean the whole match, I could hear him just yelling at me and getting more and more upset. I remember there's that long tunnel in the Hilton Coliseum where you're going up, and I just was like, you know what, I'm not going to make eye contact with him because it's just going to get bad, and I'm going to go to the locker room. I could remember walking up that tunnel and feeling him on the back of my neck, and I was like, oh man, I'm about to get it. And then right when I turned around, he took my clothes and just chucked it right into my face, and at that point, it was like all my my anger and everything just boiled over, and I started screaming at him. And it was one of those moments like when you like talk back to your dad for the first time, where you're like, you say something, you're like, I'm sorry. Like I should have. I was yelling at him, and I was like Grace, and I mean he got right up in my face, and it was bad. Where Jake Rochelle is wrestling. And I remember Branch ran up the tunnel to like break us apart, and John was just ripping into me. And when you're on the other end of his like rage, you want to talk about the ultimate competitor. He brings it out. Like he starts saying some crazy stuff. Where I remember just I don't even know. I went out and got my like award for the Big 12, like the second place, and I went straight to the bus, like thinking in my head, like I hate this man, I'll never wrestle for him again, I want to transfer out of here. And then like he came back with like some food, and like we sat on the bus for like 9 hours and just talked about everything but wrestling. And it was always one of those deals, like I always felt like he was picking on me. Like I was like, at that point I was undefeated. I had never, I was like cruising, and I thought I was unbeatable. Where, obviously got shown I wasn't. I got humble pie. My last 3 years of college, I lost one match every stinking year. Just one match. And then that year I was actually pretty fortunate that I lost.
Yeah, how'd you lose to EK Waldhouse?
Oh, no.
Come on, bro. He can never beat me. How'd you lose to him?
I beat to Ryan Lang.
Boom.
Oh,
Boom roasted.
He stalled.
Boom roasted.
Here's the bum.
So, okay, so you lose this match.
John is. It's funny. Ben beat pinned EK Waldhouse, and EK beat me. Ryan Lang beat Ben, and I pinned Ryan Lang in the NCAA semifinals.
Love it.
I did the 2 matches. Was gassed out, throwing up. You got to give me a little bit of TLC on the show,
dude, for sure. So, all right, let's talk about
like good matches up.
I know, but these are the 2 people I haven't seen.
And who picked those 2 matches?
Listen, it was 1-1. It was very fair. First of all, the Pendleton beating Askren thing has been discussed.
That's the only 2 that I have.
No, I'm very thankful because I really do appreciate getting to see those matches.
All right, now I want to know here before we go. So you lose at that bit your junior year Big 12. You lose. What are those next 2 weeks like, and how are you able to turn it around for that year? Because I don't know if I've ever seen that your junior year title. I've only seen your senior year one.
It really was like just one of those deals that going back, it was kind of like, don't panic, don't rewrite anything, don't like try to learn new techniques or anything. Like not to discredit Ben, but they really hammered in, you beat yourself a lot. These are positions that you knew you shouldn't have been in. These are things you knew you shouldn't have done. Just sharpen your skills. Just go back. I honestly went back, and the next day I went and got like a 45-minute drill, and that was kind of like my safe place where I just went through, hit my areas, hit my shots. If you look at like the match, like when I was hitting my post or my underhook, I was just doing little small things wrong. And, that's still a lesson I teach my wrestlers right now is when you lose a match, don't panic. Just go back and rework your basics a little bit. And so I did.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, man, so give us a little sense of, let's talk a little Oregon State, man, because this is exciting stuff. We're all excited for you, obviously. Why Oregon State? Why was this the opportunity you wanted to make a leap?
Because right now I'm going to make my first offer. Ben, do you want to be my head assistant? Get back in the game.
Oh my gosh!
No, I mean, I appreciate the offer, but no.
Sleep on it, Ben.
Ben,
you should say you're going to sleep on it, and you're going to give your decision on Tuesday's FRL.
I love Corvallis the few times I was out there.
You get $30K, buddy.
I'm good. You know who you should hire? I think you should do a little more connection and try to hire Isaiah Martinez.
Ooh.
I'm Mark. You know we're from the same high school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lamar. I said.
Dang. So
right now we're opening the jobs up, just seeing who's out there. I mean, it has been exciting. There's been a lot of interest. So we're just going to see. Luckily, with this time right now, it's a time in the world where we can go a little bit slower. There's not much happening. So it's been the good and bad of becoming – I mean, I would say there's no first-year head coach that's had to go through what I'm having to go through the last couple of weeks. It's been good but frustrating because I do want to, get out there, hit the ground running, but I'm forced to take my time.
Yeah, that's got to be a really strange situation to start your head coaching career. How much of an advantage is it that the job is out west, that it's in the Pac-12, a conference you've been coaching in the last several years? Is that an advantage for you?
It definitely helps. It goes into a lot of my recruiting ties. Especially when I was at Wyoming, we recruited the Pacific Northwest a lot. California, obviously. So there are a lot of advantages, and it being a Power 5 school, I mean, it's been amazing. The support of the administration, the facilities, the endowment board. I mean, it's a great situation. And it was actually a job that I kind of kept in my back pocket. Like, man, this is a really, really good job. I really want this job. That's
awesome. Well, we're excited to see what you can do there. We're 2 minutes over actually, but this has been fun, man. We need to get some more. We need to get one of your more dominant wins, and we need to break one of those down. We'll have you on again.
I'll call in sick for that episode.
Ben won't make the walk, but we can still have you on, and we can do that. But you do need to come on again, Coach. It's fun having you on. You're a good sport because, as mentioned, you definitely had the upper hand in this rivalry, and those two matches.
Are you trying to get me to hang up on you 2 days in a row? I hung up on you yesterday. I will do it again.
You're both the best. Hey, I just like that you two are two of my favorite guys in the sport. So I'm glad that I can just have you both here together and it's civil because you're both good guys. So I appreciate your time, Coach.
You know what though? I almost saw Chris's cortisol in his forehead going up a little.
Where's cortisol levels going through the
Oh man!
Oh my gosh!
It wasn't the best start. I mean, I literally rolled right out of bed, ran right to the living room, and getting it. So apologies for being late. But.
No problem. It's kind of confusing with it being so early for you, but I appreciate you coming on.
Talk about how bad of a memory Sion has. I mean, literally,
everyone
that came out of his mouth was just wrong.
That's the case a lot of the times with him.
That's part of the entertainment. I was like, okay. I was like, really? Because he's told me that story before. I'm like, really? He's like, okay, well, let's see. So I'm glad you were able to set the record straight.
The Slim Jims are going to his head.
That is very possible. Well, hey, Caleb, we're good to go. You can play us out. Big thanks to Chris Pendleton. Thanks to Ben Askren. Thanks to you for tuning in. Hey, keep your eye on Oregon State Wrestling. It's going to be fun to watch. Coach Pendleton begin his journey there. Our journey for FRL is over for the week, but hey, we got a big Friday. We got a lot of stuff planned for tomorrow. Tomorrow, we have the NCAA Award Show leading into the premiere of our newest Flow film, Bad Cut, all live, starting at 7 Eastern. Okay.
That's when Bad Cut is. I don't know when the award show is.
I think it's 7 Eastern starts the award show, and then after that is Bad Cut. So it's going to be a really great time. Set some time aside for that. Thanks so much for listening. We'll be back next Tuesday. We'll find out if Chris is going to be, or if Ben's going to be the next head assistant coach with Chris Pendleton, starting a dynasty out west. We won't know until Tuesday. Ben has to think on it. Thanks, guys, so much. We'll see you next time.